Today we are discussing the interview questions and answers for AWS Certified Developer Associate. You can download the complete list of AWS-based questions from the link provided in the description. Our interview question based on Certified Developer Associate is: explain the concept of AWS ECS task definitions. Your answer should be AWS ECS task definitions are JSON documents used to define one or more containers that form your application. They include parameters such as container image, CPU and memory requirements, networking configurations, and container dependencies. Our next interview question is: how can you implement cross-region replication for Amazon S3 buckets? Your answer should be cross-region replication for Amazon S3 buckets can be implemented by enabling versioning on both source and destination buckets and configuring replication rules to replicate objects between the buckets. This helps ensure data redundancy and disaster recovery across different AWS regions. Our next interview question is: what is AWS Secrets Manager and how can it be used? Your answer should be AWS Secrets Manager is a service that helps you securely store, rotate, and manage secrets such as database credentials, API keys, and other sensitive information. It allows you to access and manage secrets programmatically or through the AWS Management Console. Our next interview question is: explain the difference between AWS ECS task definitions and ECS services. Your answer should be AWS ECS task definitions define the configuration for individual containers that form your application, including container image, resource requirements, and networking settings. ECS services, on the other hand, define how many copies of a task should be run and how they should be distributed across the cluster, including load balancing and scaling settings. Our next interview question is: what is AWS X-ray tracing and how can it help in debugging applications? Your answer should be AWS X-ray tracing is a distributed tracing service that helps you debug and analyze the performance of your applications running on AWS. It provides end-to-end visibility into requests as they travel through your application, allowing you to identify performance bottlenecks, errors, and latency issues. Our next interview question is: how can you monitor the performance of AWS Lambda functions? Your answer should be: you can monitor the performance of AWS Lambda functions using AWS CloudWatch, which provides metrics such as invocation count, duration, error count, and throttling. You can also enable detailed monitoring to collect additional metrics at 1-minute intervals. Our next interview question is: explain the concept of AWS Lambda function aliases. Your answer should be AWS Lambda function aliases are named versions of Lambda functions that allows you to deploy multiple versions of a function and control which version is invoked by clients. Aliases can be used for blue-green deployments, A/B testing, and canary releases. Our next interview question is: what is AWS Systems Manager Parameter Store and how can it be used? Your answer should be AWS Systems Manager Parameter Store is a service that helps you securely store and manage configuration data, secrets, and other sensitive information. It can be used to store parameter secrets and hierarchies of parameters that can be accessed by AWS services, Lambda functions, and EC2 instances. If you are preparing for any AWS-based certifications, you can download the complete list of valid, tried and tested questions and answers from the link provided in the description below.